Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, your one-stop spot for Taskmaster support groups. It's come to my attention because, let's be honest, Marvel fans are very loud and very opinionated that most of you aren't too happy with the Taskmaster reveal. Spoilers ahead for those of you who don't already know who Taskmaster is. Go ahead and leave this support group and come back when you find out. The purpose of my video is I honestly think Marvel fans need to chill out just a little bit about Taskmaster. So I'm going to explain to you why exactly I feel this way, talking about the upheaval of fans who are disappointed with the character, the gender swap, the involvement of the character, and I'm going to talk about why it's not a bad thing, why it makes perfect sense, and hopefully you can be swayed and when and if Taskmaster shows up in the future.
What are the chances that we see her return?
I don't know if my character will return. I think that's up to you. You could ask them. You could ask Marvel. But of course, would I be delighted to return? Of course. I had so much fun playing the character.
We will be able to enjoy her inclusion as well. If you need support groups just like this to get through the devastating facts of the MCU moving forward, be sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. We're talking about all major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more, forming a really cool community which you can talk and chat with in our Discord, link in the description down below. So the big reveal for Taskmaster in Black Widow, in my opinion, was a very well-kept secret. I literally spend every single day as my full-time job looking into different leaks and plot details about episodes, big reveals, secrets that Marvel doesn't want us to have, and when I watched Black Widow, I had no clue that it was going to actually end up being Antonia, Dreykov's daughter. Now, it was a very interesting twist. It was obviously a huge change for the character, and yes, it was a gender swap, since traditionally in the comics, Taskmaster is male. There is a specific reason why they changed Taskmaster to this character, and I don't disagree with the reasoning behind it. Now, before I go into the whole it's okay, don't worry guys, I'm not singing a song of, oh, every single character needs to be gender swapped and changed out. I'm generally somebody who doesn't prefer that. I do like it to be relatively comic book accurate, as I am one of the fans who did grow up reading the comic books and relating with the comic books, and I know a lot of you guys out there who don't really mind as much. Generally speaking though, me as a fan of Marvel and not as a YouTuber or somebody trying to get likes, I like it when the characters remain the same, remain as they were, with cool little changes and differences to make the MCU exciting and hard to predict. But there are times when something like a gender swap isn't just for the purpose of gender swapping. And when that happens, I'm okay with it. It made more sense to the storyline that Taskmaster was Antonia than probably anybody else. The reality of it is, this movie was about closing the book for Natasha's Black Widow, giving her a solo film which earlier in the MCU there wasn't really time for, there wasn't really dedication to, and we can also recognize that perhaps Marvel and Disney didn't think a female-led movie was going to be as successful as a male-led movie. But Wonder Woman's come out, multiple other features of women superheroes doing very well have come out, so Marvel jumped in on the train, and we're also getting a cool swan song for a character that is very well loved and part of the original Avengers. So the purpose of this movie is to close the book on Black Widow. Well, by adding a Taskmaster who is involved in Black Widow's life, we're able to get a very clean ending. The post-credit scene has her funeral, it shows the official torch being switched over to Yelena, and we can kind of move on happily from everything Black Widow's done for the MCU in the last 12 years. That being said, how does this connect to Taskmaster? Well, one of Black Widow's biggest regrets in life, the red in her ledger, was the collateral damage of Dreykov's daughter, who she in her mind had sacrificed to kill Dreykov. Turns out neither of them died, so she didn't actually do that good of a job, and they're both alive and well, which brings us to the Black Widow movie, which will be her trying to take down Dreykov and the Red Room. Obviously, at the end, it's mission accomplished, and at the reveal that Taskmaster is Antonia, she also receives relief, knowing that she didn't actually kill that little girl. Now, does this make her attempt to kill that little girl okay? No, not necessarily, but I think for Black Widow, specifically, Well, that is good news. You know, she can have a deep breath. She didn't even want to fight Taskmaster when Taskmaster was trying to kill her. She let her out of the jail cell, which certainly would have meant Taskmaster would have died because the whole thing was going down. And then at the end, they free her from the trance, and her and Yelena go to free the other Black Widows. Had it been literally anybody else, the story wouldn't have made nearly as much sense. It wouldn't have had nearly as much closure. And it definitely would have been, oh, here's a random character, we'll see if we pull him back later. I don't think this Taskmaster is going to be a Crossbones scenario. I believe that she's going to make a new appearance, whether in the Thunderbolts, Valentina, something else happens down the line. I don't think it's the end of this character. They freed her mind. She wasn't very involved in the sense that we didn't see the actress at all. We didn't see Taskmaster's story arc at all. We didn't see anything coming from her other than the moments when she fought Black Widow with her mask on and the moment when they revealed who it was. So I'm going to go ahead and say we should be expecting to see Taskmaster again in the Thunderbolts, in the Dark Avengers, off doing her own secret missions in her own solo film. You know, you name it, the opportunity for that is there. They didn't keep her alive and unbrainwash her and set her free off into the world where Valentina's watching everything for no reason. Which brings me over to my one complaint about Taskmaster, and that is the screen time issue. She wasn't as involved in the movie as I would have liked her to be, especially from what we saw in the trailers. Every single trailer that came out was Taskmaster doing something maniacal, trying to take out Natasha. However, what we really saw were very few glimpses of Taskmaster doing Taskmaster things that when we did see were very, very cool, very, very well played out. The stunts, the mimicry of all of the Avengers was obvious, it was clear, it was really cool to see. And I think that's because we're going to see the sun rise on Taskmaster in other places in the MCU moving forward. But the big point of this video, guys, is chill with the Taskmaster gender swap was the worst thing that ever happened stuff. I think Taskmaster being Dreykov's daughter makes the most sense out of any plot that they could have done with incorporating this character into the Black Widow movie, telling Black Widow's story, wrapping up Black Widow's career, and overall giving us a really cool ending, final chapter, last turn of the page for this character, while leaving some cool strings moving forward in Yelena, potentially Red Guardian, and I presume Taskmaster as well. As any of these or all of these characters pop up throughout the MCU moving forward, it will be a memory and in memory of Black Widow, who introduced these characters through her film. Thank you for joining my Taskmaster support group. If you found it entertaining, useful, helpful, or just good information at all, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn that notification bell on. Don't miss any of our daily uploads. We're talking about DC, Star Wars, MCU, all major projects going on across the fandom. So comment down below what you thought, what your thoughts are currently of Taskmaster, and I'll see you in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.